Okay, folks, good news. I do have my Isom number 2 copies on the way. However, I would like to complain about something because it's been a while. um, I want to complain about Rippaverse's communication skills because right now I have reason to question them. I waited until after the ISOM number 2 campaign was over to purchase my copies of ISOM number 2. And the reason I did so is because I have an online retailer that I deal with, and that online retailer carried copies of ISOM number 1 for the ISOM number 1 campaign. So I bought my copy, my first copy of ISOM number 1 through my online retailer. And that was beneficial to me because I had store credit, and so that meant I could get essentially ISOM number 1 for free. And I planned to do exactly the same thing this time around. However, there was a new development over at Rippaverse that I was not aware of because I had no reason to go over and look at their retailer portal page. See, when the ISOM number 1 campaign was done, and apparently all of the business dealings with all the retailers and such were over and concluded, Rippaverse put together a retailer portal page. And on that retailer portal page, I noticed something that I tried asking Eric July in his threads a couple of times about. It said that we do not sell to online retailers. You have to be a brick and mortar store. Now, my online retailer is just a warehouse. Comics come in, they sell the comics go out. But they don't have any brick and mortar, displays where you go in and you buy anything off the rack. You have to order it from their store online. Now, I don't understand why online retailers are now excluded from doing business with Rippaverse. I don't understand that. I'm not saying there's not a good reason for that. I don't know what that reason is. That kind of bothers me. But I assume that there is a reason. Maybe there's something about it being cost prohibitive, but I don't understand how that could be because I keep thinking to myself, well, whether you're shipping your comics to a brick and mortar retailer store or you're shipping your comics to a online retailer, it's just a matter of, they buy the comics, you ship them the comics, and then they resell the comics. So unless the entire thing of working through retailers sucks, and you shouldn't do it at all, I don't understand why brick and mortar stores are getting a preference that online retailers aren't. So I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. I assume there is reasoning, and we just don't know what it is. But here's the thing that bothers me, is that this cessation of relationships with online retailers was never communicated to us, the customers. So there have been, and I assume it's not just me, because I'm just one of many people, but I assume that I am one among many people who purchased their comics, their Rippaverse comics, through a retailer, in some cases an online retailer, who have been waiting to see those new copies of ISOM number 2, covers A and B and D and whichever, show up at the online retailer. And if they weren't ever going to do that, why the hell weren't we told this from the beginning? Because I would have gladly, once I knew that there was no new Rippaverse or ISOM number 2 related merchandise coming out for the ISOM number 2 campaign, I gladly would have plunked down my, I guess $80 plus tax and shipping to, oh God, I think it was like $84 with tax and shipping. It's a lot. I would have gladly plunked down that money within the campaign so that my contribution could have elevated ever so slightly the campaign totals. But instead, me and whoever else out there has been waiting for their online retailers to get copies, we're just sitting here with our thumbs up our asses wondering what the fuck. Why was this never communicated that online retailers were not going to be included anymore in this business arrangement between Rippaverse and retailers? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense on two levels. Number one, it doesn't make sense on why are they being excluded in the first place. And I'm not saying there's not a good business reason for that, but we'd like to know what it is. We customers of online retailers who are planning on getting our comics through the online retailers would like to know what that is. And the other thing is, we just would have liked to have known about it in the first place, so that we could have contributed our funds to you during the campaign when it would have mattered more. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I also feel like I've been out here waiting for no damn reason. You know, I mean, one of the things I've been waiting to do is, of course, review Isom number 2. And every day that I sat around not having placed an order because I thought I was going to be able to get it from my online retailer the same way that I was able to get it from with Isom number 1, is a day wasted. And so I've just been sitting around here and without the book in my hands. So, you know, unless you're afraid of me getting the book in my hands, and I don't think you have that hyped up of a view of my abilities in terms of affecting your future sales. That would be crazy, all right? Yes, I am very hypercritical, but at the same time, I don't think that necessarily made a dent. Oh, he would have made that $3.2 million, but it was your videos, Mike. No, I'm not saying that at all. But, my God, why would you keep that information from us? You know, and whether or not you explain the rationale behind it. Because, of course, you know, whatever the business dealings are behind the scenes, it's not like we, the customers, deserve to be privy to all that. But we'd at least like to know when we can expect our books at the retailers we purchased them from before. And if that answer is never, then yeah, I'd like to be able to place my order now. So I've already gone on the Rippaverse website. I placed my orders for a couple of copies. Why a couple of copies? You know why. One of those is going to be grist for the mill. The good news is my copies of Isom number 2 are on the way. The bad news is that for some freaking reason that I couldn't even begin to tell you, Rippaverse handled its communications in such a way that it delayed me from purchasing the books. It kept me from contributing to the campaign itself, and just, I don't know, I guess if you like my videos, it kept you waiting for no reason. So I would like to see Rippaverse's communication skills on this front improved. So that is my rant for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike Partika. Hopefully I will be getting those comics in soon, and I can start going through them. You know, I'm just going to tear through one of those copies of Isom number 2. Oh, goodness. I don't think I'm going to do an hour-long live stream, though. God, it was actually a 2-hour live stream, if I remember correctly, but I don't think this one is supposed to be as tightly bound as that one was. I think the cover binding, or the binding quality on Isom number 2 is actually not supposed to be as good as the binding quality on Isom number 1. Now, I don't know why that is, if they just decided to go the cheaper route or something like that, because I'll tell you what, that thing was a bear with all the strings and all of the glue and the strings, and it wound up being just an absolute major ordeal. So you can always go back and watch my prior live stream on that if you want to see a copy of Isom number 1 decimated, as a copy of Isom number 2 soon will be. Which cover? Oh, I think you know, because I think I told you in the past. But definitely go back and look at my video for Isom and the secret of great covers. That'll tell you everything you need to know about my personal preferences when it comes to the Isom number 1 and number 2 covers. All right, I'm Mike Partika. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you later.